Chapter 16. A Black Tail? Who's Jim? Either and Kishore muttered their questions simultaneously before turning their heads. The moment their eyes met, Rubel and Marty rushed over and began speaking. Jim is a prisoner working with Urshi. He was one of the two people who accompanied me earlier to the cavalry building to help move Onal. I heard he has the ability to spot other people's weaknesses and attack accordingly. I suspect Urshi mentioned it in relation to that. Either quickly sorted through the torrent of words in his mind. Now that I hear it, I do remember. Urshi had specifically called Jim and Peter to go help Rubel. So, is it that Jim observed me and reported it to Urshi? According to the two, Jim's specific ability seemed more akin to scrutinizing another person's state and identifying anything out of the ordinary. That out of the ordinary range was surprisingly broad. Sometimes Jim could pinpoint a comrade's pain point and other times identify invisible abilities that other awakeners had used. Jidder roughly guessed what Urshi had been getting at. They often say a black tail sticks to someone when they are being secretly tailed, so that means someone has been using tracking abilities to discreetly target us. Kishore voiced Yudhir's thoughts precisely. Jim had claimed to have seen a black tail attached to Yudhir from the first time they met. They suggested there had already been tracking in place before he entered the underground dungeon. It didn't happen in the east, so it must have happened in the west. There are only two possibilities for that. Either a traitor existed among the comrades in the western branch, or one of the recent test candidates had done something. However, Yudhir considered the likelihood of a traitor among his comrades to be extremely low. None of the members in the division have tracking-related abilities. If they were to pull something like this off, they would have needed external help, and being able to do such a bold act without catching Yudhir's eye from within was frankly unbelievable. An internal traitor would more likely attempt assassination, which is faster and simpler. Therefore, the most probable person to have discreetly tailed Yudhir was likely among the numerous Western test candidates. During the test, so many energies were erupting everywhere that even I couldn't keep track of them all. One lucky individual could have taken advantage of that to attach a tail. Reaching his conclusion, Yudhir lifted his head. His dark eyes flickered like those of a predator. Considering the enemy hasn't revealed themselves despite tagging us, they must have been waiting for our numbers to dwindle before making a move. However, now that we are aware of this, things have turned out quite well. Thanks to Glow's blessing, their departure was delayed by a day, disrupting their original schedule. That allowed for today's events to unfold during their visit to the underground dungeon. It was fortunate that of all places, someone with the ability to see the tail attached to Yudhir was here. And it was lucky that Urshi, who knew this information, chose to share it as a form of payment for saving a comrade. Could this have been the blessing meant to protect me? Emun had received a blessing to ward off falling stones from above his head, but not all blessings manifested in such ways. Yudhir momentarily pushed aside thoughts of the unknown blessing power and glanced around the exceptionally tranquil street as usual. There is no need to make a big deal here. I think it would be best to go out and see their faces ourselves, he suggested. Agreed, let's do that. Kishore complied, his face suggesting he had already anticipated Yudhir's conclusion. They immediately mounted their horses and headed to where Nathan Zuckerman was waiting. Before leaving, Kishore called over Rubel and Marty, asking them to deliver a message to Emun, the Western branch leader. Find out the current location of those who ran away without notice just before the second test and those Yudhir had directly witnessed. Tell them to chase after any suspicious individuals. Keep the frequency of our contact as before. Understood. We will relay your message. Leave it to us. Yudhir quickly pulled the reins as he caught a fleeting glimpse of the two departing figures. No sooner had their trio of horses exited Thenu than shadowy figures in a secluded inn in Thenu started to stir. The black monster and his group have finally left Thenu. There are 3 of them. Good. Remember the advice we received yesterday from the sage serving under Baron Renbaum. wait as long as possible without being detected, and follow them carefully after sunset. As Yudhir and Kishir had suspected, they were all individuals who had either been eliminated by Yudhir during the second test or had opted out, fearing their identities had been exposed. Not a hint of anxiety could be seen in the eyes of these dozen or so menacing figures. Among them was Seeker, an awakener whom Yudhir had personally eliminated during the second exam. That damned monster! He will soon find out that breaking your neck and dying in the harsh mountains of the west isn't uncommon. Group of suspicious individuals dispersed, each heading out of different city gates of Thaino. The oblivious city remained as peaceful as ever. We will head to a small village called Pofon first, where Crown Prince Kachian had refined mushrooms. Kishir informed as he effortlessly led the way through the dark forest. Horses were unstable for the dark forest, so they were all walking. However, due to their abilities far surpassing average humans, their walking speed was exceptionally fast. We will have to veer off this path and go through the Gonamar mountains. If our attackers are trailing us, it might be wise to slow down near the entrance and wait for them, Kishir added. A spot where the enemy would lower their guard, thinking they have the advantage. A perfect place for an ambush, Yudhir mumbled, prompting a smile from Kishir. Exactly, very textbook. But don't offer to act as a decoy or anything of that sort. Yudhir paused exactly on the verge of suggesting just that. Why? I'm the one being chased. It makes sense for me to cause a distraction. The scent emanating from you has intensified since we left Thaino. Didn't you notice? Yudhir's eyes twitched. He raised his hand and sniffed his palm but couldn't discern any difference. I can't tell, he admitted. If you're not aware of it yourself, then for now it's probably fine. But it's still better to be cautious. If bait is needed, I will volunteer. Really? Ever since I have found out how much my adjutant and assistant were concerned about me to the point of pausing their work, I ought to demonstrate my own resilience to ease their worries. ... A chilling silence settled in the air following Kishir's softly muttered words. Yudhir's eyes swiftly darted, and upon meeting Nathan Zuckerman's gaze, the man subtly exhaled. Through this, Yudhir was certain that during his absence, Kishir, who had woken up from sleep, had heard from Nathan Zuckerman on whatever had transpired between the loyal knight and the assistant. It didn't seem that Yudhir was surprised or disappointed, but the fact that Kishir would willingly take on the most dangerous task just to prove there is no need to worry about me was breathtakingly like him. Let's use our strength wisely, extract information after capturing them, and then bury their faces in the ground. Arrange them in a way that makes it easier for those in the base to pick them up. Understood. Hearing the somber replies from Nathan and Yudhir, Kishir broke into a smile. At that moment, an incongruous twinge of unease briefly fluttered within Yudhir's chest and then disappeared. Yudhir thought that Kishir's mood would have been somewhat subdued, given the fact that his hidden past had been exposed and he now knew how he died in his previous life. But look at that face. Not a shadow of what Yudhir had expected was there. Rather, Kishir's face seemed more radiant, more relaxed than before. This wasn't Kishir pretending that nothing had happened. To Yudhir, it felt quite the opposite. The crimson eyes that glanced at Yudhir while uttering to ease their worries conveyed a silent message, clear in their intent. There is no need to worry about me due to yesterday's events. How could Yudhir argue against that? Kishir was the type of person who emitted an unexpected light, even when one would expect him to be at his darkest. And because of that, Yudhir found himself once again without regret for yesterday's decision. The sounds are getting closer. Finally, they reached the mountain's entrance. Even without Nathan Zuckerman's words, Yudhir had already sensed the presence of approaching humans through the wind. There are 18 people in total. Some of them are moving rather quickly. Perhaps they possess speed-enhancing abilities. Kishir voiced much more detailed information than Nathan Zuckerman had. There wasn't a hint of tension in his voice. Their abilities will be hampered in terrains with many obstacles. Using the mountain's features, we can capture them quickly. Good to know. Thank you. Alright, prepare yourselves. They'll be here soon. With a brief expression of gratitude for Uther's information, Kishir raised his hand to signal. Almost immediately, several shadows, like flashes of light, swooped down and landed with a thud. They were carrying comrades on their back, and one of them precisely pinpointed Uther's location and shouted, "Over there!" "Finally, we meet again, you monster of the cavalry. Who are you? How did you follow me?" Pretending to not know what you already do is a difficult task. Thankfully, the darkness veiled any awkwardness, and the enemies chuckled, obliging with an answer. "You're surprised to see an awakener with tracking skills as exceptional as mine, aren't you? Do you have any idea how much trouble I went through to set up this trap? You could have died quickly if I had just dealt with you then and there. Now, because of your trivial schemes, remember that you will die in even more pain and at a later time." These fuckers. "Do you think you will tell me who sent you?" "Of course not. What would a man about to die do with that information?" "Exactly. It doesn't matter, as I will find out soon enough. Now, one last question." "Find out soon? Are you insane? What are you talking about?" "Seems like you're too scared to think straight." At Uther's composed demeanor, the enemies let out incredulous laughs. Even as they did, more of their comrades who had arrived a bit late were steadily joining them. Regardless, Uther spoke unwaveringly. "Is there anyone here willing to surrender and say something nice? Come out and kneel within the count of 3, and I will spare just that one person." Whoa. You go, Uther.